you will then go. Putting on a show. Rhythm is a dancer. When that's all you do. When that's all you. When that's all you. When that's all you do. When that's all you. When that's all you. When that's all you know.
Hey, how you doing? This is Tommy from Tommy Talks Rock. Today we have Oscar G, formerly of Bondage, and now he's in Fyre Insyde. These guys are really making a big name for themselves in Florida and all over. How you doing, Oscar? What's going on, man?
Tommy Talks Rock. How you doing, bro? Internationally known.
Yeah,
Finally,
man.
we're finally getting together.
Man, I tell you, I remember it was about 2.5 years ago, and I saw you guys. I saw you on Facebook. What am I gonna name this band? I got to get this band together. I'm gonna get the right guys together. Now you got the right guys together. You guys are playing with everybody, man.
Yeah,
You
bro.
guys are playing with the Dirt. You guys are playing with a Kiss tribute band, right?
Yeah, we've been together for man, I want to say a little bit over a year,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot has happened in that year, and
Yes.
it's a group effort basically. You know, it's not just me. You know what I mean? Yes,
Right.
did I put the band together? Yeah. Has Is this the band I've been looking for 41 years? Absolutely. You know, because I started out with, when we just got out of disco era, you know,
Right.
and I was that kid, you know, from Queens with the Tony Monero hairdo from Saturday Night
Yes.
Fever, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm all,
Sure
I
did.
had actual platform shoes with bell bottoms and the whole 9 yards, and I was so
Right.
skinny that hallway in school and you could hear me clunking. That's how heavy these boots were. But anyway, fast forwarding, you know, moved to Jersey, moved to Carteret. Beautiful town, great town, loved it, love all the people in there, still do. There's a lot of my friends still in there. And all of a sudden, like, you know, it's the 80s now, you know, so I'm in
Right.
high school and everything. And then all of a sudden, somebody got me into Ozzy. Okay. And then I was like, you know, this is pretty cool. And then one of my friends comes in with one of those hit parader, slams it on the desk in school and says, "We're going to go see these guys," which was Motley Crue, and that's when Motley Crue was opening up for Ozzy and what was
Shot
it?
the Devil tour.
Yeah, 83 or 82, 83 in
Bark
that
at the
area.
Moon tour. Yep. Shot
Yeah.
the Devil. It was called
So
Ozzy's Wasted Crew.
yeah, so and I'm like, what the hell's up with these guys? Because they were all like, you know, Crew back in the day.
Yeah.
So then I started. I had a group of friends, and then we wanted to start doing the band thing, you know. And then we were just screwing around with the pots and pans. We were young,
Yeah.
and then we named it Midnight Prowl actually,
That's
and
actually a cool name.
it was, and we made a shirt out of one of the jerseys and had the fuzzy Midnight Prowl on there. I wore that thing
Right.
everywhere. I thought I was a musician. Well, anyway, I asked my dad. I think I was like 14 or 15 in that area, and I was like, "Dad, can I have a guitar?" And he was like, "Too many guitar players in the world." That's his way of saying no, you know. And it kind of bummed me out because guitar
Yeah.
player just got into rock, you know. So fast forward again, I get into I'm living in Rahway now, and I'm living right across the street from George Becker, aka Rat Rage.
Yeah.
So from Wicked Sin.
Yeah.
So he lived directly across the street. So I'm sitting there, you know, and I'm looking at these guys and their long hair, you know, and spandex. They're getting ready for a gig, you know, and he's like doing a. I'm like, I wonder what's going on over there. So that's when when one time across the street we start talking. Oh no! Before that, I had another guy, Chris Christie. He saw me at Seaside, and
Right.
he had this Metallica band, and then he's like, "Hey man," because I started just growing my hair, and he's like, "Hey man, you ever want to sing for my band?" And I was like, "Sure." So blah blah blah. You know, we made a little band called Epitaph, and we just did Metallica covers, and that didn't last long because we just worked garage band. But anyway,
Right.
so then I met George Becker, and then he's like, "You want a roadie for me?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I started roading for Wicked Sin. Oh, man, that was like 80 something or whatever,
85, 86, maybe.
somewhere in
Yeah.
that area. So I met the guys, Ariel and Barry and Billy.
George.
Yeah, and I love Billy. Billy the drummer. Me and him had some good times. So anyway, so Wicked Sin knew Sandquest, which was Dave's band back in that day,
Yes.
and then I met Dave, and we got along really good. Blah 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 blah. And I told my sang for this band or whatever, and he's like, "My little brother's got a band. They
Yeah.
need a singer." I'm like, "Sure, why not?" So I tried out, and that was Bondage. And then
Yeah.
that's when I started going to Linden and started meeting everybody. Everybody from over there.
We all hung out at Dave's house, and I remember it was like a big party every day. I go there after work. There'd be me, Scooty. Scott Wilson was in my band.
Scott Wilson was in my band.
Yeah, he was in your band. He was in my band. He left my band to come in your band.
Yeah, he was a fourth wall with us. Actually, he was in Bondage for a little bit, and then it turned into fourth wall.
Okay.
But yeah, the house, the apartment, his mom's house. That's another funny thing because I was coming over, right? We were rehearsing in his room, and you know how small his room was.
Yeah.
So it would be him, Steve, Jamie. So we're in there, and we're jamming. So I stayed one day. I stayed 2 nights. I stayed 3 nights. His mom comes in. She goes, "So Oscar," I was like, "What?" She's like, "When you gonna tell me you moved in?"
Yeah. That was Dave's mom, man. That was Dave's mom.
That woman was the best, man.
She
You
was
know,
a saint.
when she was in her bedroom, she was laying in bed, watch TV with, and I would sit next to her, and she would give me so much advice. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because she was like a mom to me too. So she gave me so much advice.
Yeah.
And one time, like a girl broke my heart, and she called me a pussy.
That's her.
Over, you put a handsome kid, you go get you got all the girls coming and going here, blah 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 blah. You're worried about one girl. Yeah, so that woman was awesome. Unfortunately she passed away, but she's
Yeah.
still in my heart. I've a lot of stuff that she said, it stuck with me, and
Yeah.
I carry it to it now. I mean, even I bring it down to my kids. A lot of stuff because my mother died when I was 19, so I was very young when she died, so I didn't really communicate with her that much. My
Right.
dad, he was like, you're here, you're there. If you're here, you're here. If you're there, you're there, kind of deal. So I basically was on my own. And when the Cardenas brought me in as a family,
They
as a
did.
brother, I mean, we had such a great time, with Alex. Unfortunately, he passed away too.
Yeah.
But
That was a
that
big
was,
hit.
yeah. They were like brothers to me. Steve, Alex, and especially Dave. Dave actually shows. We were actually playing with the dirt. Um, my wife knew, but I didn't know. My wife takes care of our merch. Actually, our new shirts are here. Here you go.
Right.
Igniting the flame. These are the new Fyre Insyde shirts.
Tell everybody where we can get these shirts
I
and
will. Bam, with the logo in the back.
Very
No,
cool.
I'll give you all the info, all the links.
Good.
And where was I at?
You were at we were hanging out at Dave's house, and Dave kind of like was Dave was like a mentor to everybody.
Oh yeah. Oh, he he was like this awesome guitar player that looked like Slash.
Fucking Slash. I remember one time, me and Scott brought Dave to the Italian festival in Scotch Plains. Me and Dave are walking around. I'm looking like Vince Neil at the time. Dave's looking like Slash. So Scott goes, yeah, this is Slash. Dave's signing autographs.
Yeah.
He's signing
I
autographs.
thought that with it.
It was freaking hysterical, man. And
I'll tell you a cool story. Dave don't drink anymore. He hasn't drank in 35 years or whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when we were drinking, you know, and we were at Seaside, and he was in a bar, you know, and then I'm outside with somebody else. And I don't know who it was. I can't remember who it was, but these two girls walked by. One had a teddy bear, and one had a poster of Guns N' Roses.
Right.
So I was like, hey, you know, Slash is here. And they're like, no, he's not. I was like, yeah, he is. They were young. They couldn't get in, you know, the bar. So I pointed, like, well, come here. And then I said, look in the window. And they see Dave in there drinking. So, and then, we were stuck. That's what it was. We were stuck in big other story. we have a lot of stories. But anyway, we were stuck at Seaside. And, they said they had a townhouse. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I go and I go in there, and Dave, I was like, bro, got two girls out here, man. They have a townhouse. And, it was Jose. That's it, Jose. That's
Jose.
who it was.
I remember Jose.
Yes, Jose. So
that was Jose's best friend. All right.
Yes. I love Jose. I mean, I haven't seen him in over 30 years, but I still love that guy. So he comes out. And they're like, oh my God. They're all like, oh my God, it's Slash. And he's like, all like, played it off. We start walking. And of course, this is, you know, like back in the days when we used to get drunk. And when they got drunk, he got a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So the girls start whispering to each other. And Dave's getting aggravated. And then he's like, what are you whispering about? And I'm like, relax, bro. And they're like, you know, girls, they're like under 21, they're giggling, you know, blah, 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 blah. So then Dave gets mad and grabs one, because he didn't know what they were whispering about. He grabs one of the girls' teddy bears and like throws it. Because he got pissed. These chicks just ran off and just took off. I'm guessing right now that girl saying, Slash threw my teddy bear down the sewer.
You know, those were fucking days, man.
We got stuck there, man. We wind up with these girls that we did not like at all. And when they were going to drop us off, they didn't drop us off at the building. You remember Eric? What's his name? Koalas? Koalas? He was the bass player for Sandquest.
Yeah. The big guy.
Yeah.
The big guy with the Cadillac.
Yes.
Yeah. That dude was hysterical, man.
We had them drop us off at his house. So they don't find us again. After we got out, we just hauled ass to hit Dave's house. Yeah, and then Bondage was great, man. I had such a great experience. I wasn't a great singer, man. I just had to look. You know, let's be honest. I mean, I looked good in spandex, and then I looked good in Dave's mom's clothes.
Everybody wore Dave's mom's clothes.
She had the best rock clothes.
She did. She had the leopard skin stuff. She had everything, man. And it was 1988. It was 1987, 88. So that was the thing, dude. You know.
Yeah, I was saying we always raided a closet to see what she had. But yeah, so Bondage, yeah. So like as a performer, I was okay. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to be somebody, so that's why I was all into it.
I looked at you as a good front man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. As a singer, I thought you needed work, but like I looked at you as a good front man.
Right.
You had the look. You were like a David. I wouldn't say David Lee Roth, but you were like you just had that look.
Yeah, no, I had my own unique look, which I like. You know what I mean?
And I
But
think Bondage at that time needed a front man like you.
right.
You know,
No, and I love the whole experience with Bondage.
but then in time, I
So,
remember my
go ahead.
my if I could just interrupt you for a second. I remember in '91 I was in my band Ritual and we're practicing and I was still friends with Scott. I mean me and Scott were like this, you know. I mean, you know, when you're in a band with somebody, it's like a marriage.
Oh, absolutely.
In a band we could not see eye to eye, but you know, we were still friends. So I walk in and you guys are practicing, and I got to tell you, Scott was playing, and my roadies came in there and they watched you guys practicing, and you were singing, and you guys had your shit together.
Yeah, we did.
You guys were tight. You guys were on. You guys were you had your shit together.
Well, we practice all the time. I mean, we live together. That's why, and we practice all the time. And we used to go to Earthquake all.
Oh,
You
well,
know,
that was the place to go, man.
that was like right after the bedroom, because we were in the bedroom for maybe, I don't know, 4 or 5 months, and then that's when we decided to go into the studio, and that's when we went to Earthquake, and then we met Tommy, and then Billy, and then Pierce, you know, the whole nine
Yeah.
yards. And yeah, we practiced there like twice a week, you know, going up them dreaded stairs, and
Yeah.
it was a great, yeah, that studio was the best studio to be in if you want to set a stage performance. You know what I mean?
Tommy
And
knew how to build a good studio.
oh yeah, and
The room way
we
in the
loved
back was, you know, you had the stage,
it. That's where we were at.
you had the couch. It was the place to go.
Oh
I
yeah,
remember you
absolutely.
gave me advice because people used to come see us practice, and you said to me one time, you said, "Don't bring anybody in to watch you practice.
Nope.
Practice when you get better, then bring them in to watch you
Yep.
play."
I don't. It's still the way now. In my band, it's just the four of us.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I don't need distraction. I don't need distractions, and
Yeah.
I don't need advice. You know what I mean? Um, when you start bringing your girlfriend in, or you start bringing your friend in, or whatever, it kind of ruins the vibe when you're creating music. You know what I mean? Because they always have something to
Yes.
say. You know what I mean?
And I've had that problem with some people I played with. I'm not going to mention their names.
Right.
They weren't in my band anymore, or the band that I was in. I'm not going to say my band because
Right.
it's not my band. It's everybody's band.
Right.
But like I've had that problem. Like they would play a bass line and they would look at their girlfriend, and I'd be like, "Well, what does she have to do with what we're playing?
Right.
We're a unit. We're a band, and we're going to do what we think is right." So I completely agree with you on that.
Even when I even told them, I said, even if this band ever goes like anywhere, because it's gathering steam right now. But if it breaks and it goes anywhere, I always told the guys, I will look, when we're writing, it's just the four of us. I don't
Right.
want agents in here. I don't want managers in here. I don't want anybody in here. I don't want roadies in here. I don't want girlfriends in here. The way we are, the way we do things here, it's always just the band. Because, like I said, I had those issues, like you had. You know what I mean? My last band, my singer had to bring his girlfriend every time.
Oh
You
my
know,
God.
I'm like, you know, leave her at home. You know, there's no need for her to be here. So
No.
it just ruins the vibe of creating. And when we create, I mean, the way when Felix starts to play, and then George just whips out, he's got his little red book and notebook, and he just opens up and flips some pages around, and all of a sudden, bam, he starts wailing out something. Boom, we got a song. You know
Right.
what I mean? It's like we're ready to go back to the studio again. We just got to fine tune some songs. We have like 5 songs to go into the studio, and that was a couple weeks worth of work. And you know, we're ready. We Our business plan for the band It's basically we put out a song a month. We put a Fyre Insyde song of the month. We own our own record label, Rockout Records LLC. That's our record label because we don't want to we don't want a record label. You know what I mean? Because
No, most bands today don't have.
no, I mean somebody comes in, here's $100,000 check, boom, blah, blah. Yeah, it's fine and dandy, but you know what? You got to pay that back.
Yeah, it's like straight up your ass. You know, they
Right.
want.
So if your band doesn't make the money, you're still in the hook for that money. There's so many band members out there right now. They're on the hook for a lot of money to these record companies because they signed away their rights and they don't own anything, and all of a sudden the record company owns your whole catalog, and every time that song plays, you don't get paid. The record company does. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? So that's
Mot-
why. Go ahead.
oh no, I was gonna say, when Motley Crue got back together, you know, everybody knows Nikki Sixx runs Motley Crue. Everybody knows
Right.
that. So they were signed by Elektra, and they didn't own the rights to their fucking songs.
Yeah.
They
I
had
mean,
to fight for that, and they opened their own record label, Motley Records, and they just
mhm.
so and the rest is history. And then they got back
No,
together.
it's the same thing with us. I mean, that's right, because I've always had the vision of Rock Out Records since, I don't know, I want to say 2010, 2009 in that area when I came up with it. And, now in 2022, which is 10 years later, um, it actually happened. I got together when we got together as a band. That's when we decided to, George thought it was a good name for it, and we went and applied for an LLC for it, and then doing something, we created a business, and now we're official, and our business model as because this is a artist owned label, and our business model is basically not to put out an album, but to put out a Fyre Insyde song of the month. Every month we put out a single.
Right.
An album in January, and by June everybody forgot about you. So what I wanted, because everything's social media right now. So what I wanted to do is every time we come up with a song, bam, we put it out. Every first, June 1st, boom, July 1st, boom, August 1st, boom, September 1st, boom, and we started doing that, and it was working out very well. And then there's a local radio station here, Real Radio 104.1, and they have these. It's a radio show called The Monsters in the Morning. I listened to them since I got here to Florida in '96. Um, when I got to Florida, I was still listening to Howard Stern. So Howard was on at 6, and at 11, monsters would do. Back then, there were monsters in the midday because they were after Howard. But I never listened to him because I listened to Howard and I went to the other station, which is the rock station.
Right.
One day I'm just sitting around, listening to Howard. Howard's over, and I didn't get a chance to change the station. So these guys come on, right? And all of a sudden they're doing all these things, and I'm like cracking up. I'm like, wow, these guys are pretty funny. And then ever since then, I became a fan. Now I've been listening to him for 26 years, and this these this show has overcome everything because you never see a radio show that stays in the same market for that long.
Right.
It'll go away. I mean, Howard's still there, but Howard switched from terrestrial radio to satellite. But you never hear a show stay in that one market for 26 years.
Right.
I think they're 30 years there. But anyway,
Hold on, you're breaking up on me. Are you there? Okay. Okay, I got you back, man.
no, because the thing said link lost. I'm like, what?
I'm like, what the fuck, man?
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, we can curse on the show.
Well, I try
What-
not to. I what it is, I curse enough that I try not to because the thing is, I've always told my kids not to curse. Okay,
Right.
I curse enough. I'm from Jersey. I say fuck all the time.
Yeah.
But I always told my kids I don't like cursing. I don't want the kids cursing. When a 3 is shit, they're like, oh, they start laughing. I'm like, that's not cute. No, it's not nice.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I see kids with their parents, and they say, "F this and F that," blah blah blah. And I'm like, look how you're talking in front of your parents. That's like losing respect. The one thing I've learned about my dad is respect, because he always told me, he's like, look, I don't care what you do on the outside, but I don't want your mother to hear you cursing. You know what I mean? Because I cursed one time when I was 10, I think. And my mom's like this old Italian Spanish woman, boy. I cursed. She gave me that backhand so
Yeah,
hard. She
you
said,
don't mess with them.
hell no, man. Ever since that, I never cursed. Actually, speaking of that, one time my mom says, go get my purse. I got to get my keys or my wallet. I don't remember. I was like 8 or 9. And then I went inside her purse and I grabbed the keys or wallet or whatever it was. And then I went to my, and then she looked at me again, whack, the backhand. She goes, let me tell you something. A man never goes in a woman's purse because a woman has stuff in there that a man don't need to know. That's
Right.
exactly what she said. Those are her exact words. Ever since that day, I've been with my wife 25 years. You ask her if I've ever been in her purse, and she knows how the story. So she's all right with it. You know what I mean? She knows I would never go with her purse because that's what my mother put into me. So that's what I wanted to do with my kids. My kids absolutely. My son's 22. My oldest daughter's 34, but she curses like a fiend because I didn't raise her. Okay, that was so she was raised by her grandmother and mother. I raised my son with my wife, my son, and my daughter. And I told them both. I said, look, I don't care. The same thing my dad says. I don't care what you do on the outside, but I don't want to hear you cursing your mom. I've never say any kind of curse, not even shit. You know what I mean? I don't even know how that word comes out of his mouth.
On a personal level, we'll put the music aside and everything. I just want to say I know where you come from
Hmm.
personally because I've known you since 1987,
Hmm.
and we partied together. We've
Hmm.
we've
A lot of stuff.
we've done a lot of shit together, man. We
We had
partied like
camera phones back then.
but I just want to say my hats off to you on raising beautiful children, being married, and being where you are today.
Trying, man. I'm trying. It's
And that's coming from my heart, man, because I know what you went through. I know where you came from, and you're doing great, man.
yeah.
And
And you know what it
I
is?
just want to
It's a team effort. You know what I mean? It's just not me. It's my wife. My wife is
same here.
she. Something. I have so many women that if I ever got, I've been engaged 8 times. So if I ever married any one of them, I would have been divorced 7 times. Because the thing is, I was such an ass that there was no woman that could actually take me down. You know what I mean? And my wife, she been through a lot with me um, that most women wouldn't. Most would be like, screw this guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my wife has been behind me, and she's like, one day this mother effer is going to change. And she just sat there and waited. Hey, it took 20 something years, but it is. Right now, today, I tell my wife I love her, I adore her every day. I tell her how beautiful she is every day. Her and my daughter are actually our girls. They go with us to the shows. My wife makes the shirts. She makes jewelry out of guitar strings. We give her own guitar strings, and she makes jewelry out of it, necklaces, earrings, and she sells all that, and she goes to every show. My
Right.
daughter and my wife are part of the Fyre Insyde team. I've been, man, I don't even, I can't even count how many bands I was in, but I must have been good close to 15 bands.
Right.
and my wife has seen a few of them, and she's never backed up any of them. You know what I mean? Because she
Right.
did not like any of them, none of them. She's like none of this, none of the. Every time I say, yeah, finally got a good band going, I'm thinking in my wife. It's like I don't like, you know. So Fyre Insyde came around.
It's the same with me and my wife. If I can just say one thing,
Uh,
we're not married yet. We're getting married on Halloween because that's my
oh,
favorite holiday.
congrats, congratulations.
Thanks, bro. But like, she puts up with my shit, and I've had a crazy lifestyle. I must have relapsed like about 5 times. There's no bullshit. I cannot play sober. I I can't play sober. It's hard for me to not take 10 Xanax and not be able to play drums. Okay, and it's a shame because I'm not gonna say I'm this great drummer, but I I keep time and I go out there and I got a hell of a voice. I mean, I got a 2.0 octave range, but for some reason, there's something that I'm not relaxed when I'm not taking some kind of pill, and she's put up with that. She's put up with everything, and I told her, I said, "Hun, instead of me being in a band, I think I'm gonna start a rock jam. I think I'm gonna do this because I've been there. I was in that scene. I played in the clubs. I know what I'm doing, and she supports everything I do. And
Yeah, I watched a few of your shows with Tommy and all, but you do really good. I mean, you have a good knack for it, because you're right.
thank you.
You've been there, you know what goes on, you know what I mean, and you know us,
Yeah, I mean,
and and that makes it easier for you because it's like BSing, on the phone. You know what I
yeah,
mean? When we
right.
haven't talked in a while. But yeah, no, absolutely. I always told like all my I've always been the oldest guy in the band. I don't know why that don't
Yeah,
say
I didn't know
anything.
you were older than me. For some reason, I thought you were younger than me, man.
No, I'm
But
55.
you're actually older than me. You're
Yeah.
like
How old are
what?
you?
Like
How old are you?
I'm 53 right now.
Right. Yeah. No, I was always the old guy, and I my last band Voices, um, we were around for 10 years, but the guitar player, singer, um, got into like alcohol and drugs, and that screwed everything up. Jail, blah blah blah. He, blah, bam. So I met Felix after that. Like it took me probably like another year and a half, because I was done with the band after the kid went to jail, and a year. Well, before that, what I was getting at is I always told them a woman can make a woman can destroy a man.
Yeah,
Okay, it's that simple. And you got to find that right woman
right.
for you to be successful. You know what I mean?
It's like
Not
buying a
not
good car.
right.
It's just
I'm
like
not
buying a good
saying that.
car.
I'm not saying that all my exes were bad. They weren't bad. I'm friends with all my exes.
Yeah.
Most of my exes, I'm friends. My wife is friends
Same
with
here.
most of my exes.
It's kind of
We
weird.
went out to dinner and lunch with some of my exes. You know what I mean? Because they're friends. Because the way it works to me, say, look, I'm not gonna sit here and say call you a bitch, go all nuts on you, and like when we break up. We break up. Okay, we break up. It didn't work out. You know what I mean? We dated. We break up. I get the boot. I always get the booty call. That's the best part about it, because they'll be dating somebody else, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey, you want to come over? And they always come over. Because that the relationship wasn't. That's why I always had the booty call. So, but I always told my guys, I always say, even Felix, the same thing. A woman can destroy you. A woman can make you successful. And him being a young guy, of course, he's going to go through this stuff. When I met Felix, he was 23 years old. I met him by chance when I played with this other guitar player, and how did I meet? Yeah, with Joe, with this guy Joey. and he picked up Felix, I think, out of a Craigslist ad, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to come over? I got this guitar player. We could jam." I'm like, "Sure." So I go over and we start playing, and he just comes up with stuff, and we just follow in, and then everything was going. And then I got into an argument with that guy Joe, and I was like, "You know what? I'm done. You're gonna be an asshole. I'm out of here." So I quit that and started not just doing nothing. I was thinking of quitting. I was thinking of selling out my studio. There's all this stuff that you see back here. Hold on, let me give you a
Right.
little tour. All this
Are
equipment.
those all your bases? Lost you.
You there?
Yep,
You
I'm
there?
here.
Okay. Sorry, I
Are those all your bases?
All
Are
this
those all your
stuff.
bases?
Yeah, including the stripper pole.
Yeah. The strip club?
Yeah, see right here? That's
Is
the
that what you
stripper
hang
pole.
out once in a while?
Yeah. Everything in here I own. You know the reason I own all this? Because my dad says I couldn't have a guitar.
Right.
And it got to me, so I started buying stuff. And I thought, I got a drum set. I don't play drums. I got a 10-piece drum set. I don't even play drums.
What kind
I
of
don't
kid
even,
is it? Look, I'm a drummer, so I know. What
that's,
kind of kid?
that's a Tama combo, Tama combo. What? Give me a brand.
Mapex.
Pearl. It's a Pearl Tama combo.
It's a Pearl
but
Tama.
Yeah, because it's mixed. So, but it's all custom painted it, and
Right.
it's all the same color. But anyway, it's a 10-piece. It's got a case in my yard. I don't even play that thing, but I keep it here because when I was in my other band, I always used to go to studios, like we did with Earthquake. But the thing is, 2 hours is not really enough for me. Hours, twice a week, it's getting expensive because I'm the only one that's paying for it. Because a lot of the times, either my musician mates don't have a license, don't have a car, blah 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 blah. You know the deal.
I know the deal. Trust me, I know that.
So when I met Felix, he had the car, he has a job, good-looking kid, plays guitar well. Well, when I left that guy Joey, and I just sat here, like I said, I was telling my wife, I'm like, I'm thinking about giving up, and this is like 2019, 2018 in that area, and I was thinking, it's like, well, let me get rid of the drum set first, because that's probably the most expensive stuff I got here, and I put it up as a best offer because I didn't want to put a price on there. I wanted to see what people would pay for it.
Right.
So then Felix gives me a call, and he's like, "Hey, bro, I'm not with Joe anymore, because he pissed him off too." So he's like, "You wanna jam?" And I'm like, "Sure." And he came over, and as a matter of fact, my old band Voices with my singer Noel, that's exactly how we were. I was in a band called Chemical Society, and he came in as a second guitar player, but he wanted to start singing. The guys pissed me off because it's not where I wanted to go, so I left them and I left Noel there. And then I left, and then all of a sudden Noel calls me up and said, "Hey man, you want to jam?" And then that's how we started Voices. Well, anyway, with Felix, it was basically the same thing. He calls me up. He was 23 years old. And he calls me up and he's like, "Hey man, you want to jam?" I'm like, "Sure." As a matter of fact, he's coming at 4 o'clock because we're working on some side stuff.
Right.
Some instrumental because he is so music orientated that he just needs to keep playing and playing and playing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But this is not going to be like Fyre Insyde stuff. This is going to be like an instrumental thing, to show off his guitar playing.
Right.
Because sometimes,
absolutely.
So sometimes you hear a guitar player, and when he's playing, you kind of hear the same riffs, like the same thing over and over again. with him when he plays and he switches up and it sounds good. You know, it's like you want to sit there and you want more. You know, that's how it is. One time I even posted this video of him. He was like playing for like 12 minutes, and for the whole 12 minutes, I was like this. I was like, damn, that's honorable, you know. And that's when I came up with that. Hey, man, why not, you know? And then I told him, I said we should call it Oscar and Felix, or Felix and Oscar, like the odd couple.
With the odd couple.
He goes, "Oh, that's a good idea." So yeah, that's what we're working on. And anyway, so we're together. We're together about a year and a half. You know, we're just sitting here playing. You know, once a week, twice a week, whenever he comes over, because we used to hang out a lot. And we had drummers come in. We had 8 drummers in a year. We
yeah, everybody's always going through a drama.
we had guitar players come in. Oh, nothing. Singers come in. Oh, nothing. 2020 hits. I told the kid, "Say, look, by the end of the year, I give up. You know, I want you to go and go develop music with them. You know, because to me, my time is over. You know, I'm over. They already retired me from work because of my heart issue. I had a massive heart attack 5 years ago, so they put me out to pasture.
If I can just
Yeah.
ask you one question, I see you on stage. I see you performing. They say you're working on how much of your heart?
38%.
38%. Of course, you've had an echo. I had a heart attack myself because of excess and stuff. Um, my echo is normal. Okay, they say it's between 55 and 60, which is within normal range. How are you able to get up on that stage and do what you do and not get out of breath? I see
Every
that, and I give you so much credit.
well, thank you. What I had, I had 100% blockage on the left side of my heart. So basically, a lot of people when they have heart attacks and they clog the arteries, they have like 90% blockage, 80% blockage. I had 100%. So basically, there was absolutely no blood going through my left side of my heart at all. I had about 10 minutes left. I was actually home um, because I work nights. My wife was working, my kids were at school, and I wasn't feeling well. You know, I was like, I felt like I had heartburn. Not, you know, nothing bad. I've always had heartburn, and I had cold sweats. I'm popping tums like crazy. It's not going away. I take a shower, come back out, still the same. But I was like that for about an hour and a half. So then I call up my wife, and she didn't answer her phone. She was at work phone. Then I call her work phone. On the 5th call, she picks up her work phone, and I was like, "Honey, I don't feel good." But she heard it in my voice that she heard she heard a sound in my voice that she never heard before. My wife knows me inside out, bro. We've been together that you know so long. So
Sure,
she
sure.
she said there was something in my voice that was absolutely not right. So then took her 10 minutes to get home of a 15-minute drive. She picked me up, and then we're off to the hospital. And then she thought it was something that, cause she had something like that, and it was bad gas or something.
I remember when she was in the hospital. And
Right. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah. There you
I
go. Yeah.
remember.
That when she was in the hospital, and then she had like, I forgot what the name of it was. So she was thinking it's that, and which the and then the EKG guys go,
No, losing you there for a second. Hold on. Are you there? Hold on. Hold on.
You know you got music. You know you got music in the background, right?
Yeah, we got music in the background.
Is that you?
That's me, man.
Okay, I'm trying to make sure it's not me. No, but you're gonna put my music in the background.
Your music's gonna be in the background. Trust
Okay,
me.
so this ain't getting recorded on there.
It's no.
Oh, okay. You
No.
sure?
Okay, so yeah,
How is that going to get how is that going to get recorded if you hear it?
I don't hear any music.
Or is that me?
That might be you, man.
Hold
Are we
on.
playing some Zeppelin through there, man? Or what's
No,
going on?
I hear who's that? Billy Joel?
Billy Joel. Not, not.
Hold on.
I mean, I like Billy Joel, but I'm not like gonna.
You don't hear Billy Joel.
Nope.
I'm still standing. No, that's not. Is that?
That's Elton John.
That's Elton John. Bro, I hear music. How do you not hear music?
I don't hear anything, man. It's probably outside, dude.
No, I hear it through the headphones.
You hear through that? I see. I have no headphones on.
Everything's off.
I hear. Oh, hold on.
I hear I'm still standing.
I hear nothing.
Where the hell is that coming from?
I don't know, man.
Well, hold on. No, because it's messing me up because it's on.
I mean,
like it's playing.
I sure in hell wouldn't play out. I'm still standing. I'd play the bitch's back or something like so.
What the hell? Let me close some of this stuff out because it's not
Maybe you got some music playing.
No, because you know what I was playing Pandora earlier.
Yeah, that's probably it, dude.
Yeah, but all the web browsers are off.
Bro, man, like in work, I'll be sitting there.
Oh,
And we're live right now,
right,
so this is kind of funny, and I like this.
All right, hold on, I
It's
got
fun
it.
right now.
I found it. It was Spotify was up.
Dude, I'll be at work, man. I'll be playing my Bluetooth speaker. Yeah, I got the thing right here, and I'll be playing it, and I'll get in my wife's car, and I just put my phone down, and Pandora will just start going off, and I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, man, I had a bad day, man.
I'm
What the fuck? I want to turn this fucking shit
I was
off.
like, I didn't even turn on the Spotify. I don't even know how that came on. All right, you ready? Take two.
Take two. Here we go. We're live. Yes.
All right. So I go to the hospital. So they tell me, sir, you're having a massive heart attack. So they wheel me to they said to me, well, we can't really do nothing for you here. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's a hospital. And they're like, no, we have to fly. You have to go to the other hospital, which is like 20 minutes away. And I'm like, okay, so how do I get there? Do I drive there? And they're like, no, we have to fly you there. And I'm like, you have no time. And I'm like, are you serious? And they're like, yeah. So they start wheeling me into the emergency room, right? And then my dad died in our hospital like some years back.
Oh man, sorry, dude.
And it was like they put me in the next room where he was. And I was telling my wife, I'm like, my dad died in the room before with a former heart attack. And that kind of freaked me out. So we have like 20 people in there, right? Running in and out, this and that. They're putting, all this stuff and shooting me this in the mouth and the blah and the this. And everybody's going crazy. Now, it's starting to get real. You're like, oh, is this really it?
That's it. Yeah.
I'm sitting there holding my hand, my wife's hand, and I'm feeling weak because I'm losing, consciousness. And then the X-ray girl walks in, X-ray machine. She's kicking everybody out. Everybody needs to get out. I need blah 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 blah. You got the helicopter guy putting a helmet on me. I had the helmet on. I have a picture of that. Getting ready, but they had to leave the room because of the X-ray. And then I'm like sitting there and I'm like pointing. And then my wife is like, my wife and the doctor's like, what's he saying? What's he saying? And then my wife like leans over to me and then she's trying to listen. She's like, what's up? And I point and I was like, she's hot. Because the girl was hot, the X-ray girl.
Yeah, well, you know.
Everybody in the room starts cracking up. My wife turns around and everybody says, "Don't worry, he's gonna be all right." You know what I mean? So everybody got out of the room. She took
Right.
the picture. They wrapped me up. They threw me in the helicopter. My wife couldn't go in there, of course, because there's no room in there. She had to drive to the other hospital. So when they put you in that helicopter, you they have like this little window right by where you're laying. So then I see her standing there, and of course I see her all upset. You know, she's crying. You know, because this is probably the last time she's gonna see me. And as I'm flying up, I see her getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller till we're gone. We get to the other hospital. They drag me out. They, shove me in. I got all these things on me, and then all of a sudden I'm like laying there, and I feel somebody like rubbing on my leg or something on the inner thigh. Passed out. Wake up like hours later, and it was weird when I woke up because it felt like I just woke up for the first time, basically. You know what I mean? It was, how you wake up and you wake up.
Yeah.
When I woke up, everything was fuzzy. You know what I mean? Everything was like I couldn't really see right. You know, and then there was a nurse right there, right on top of me, and she was pretty too. I'm always flirting with girls. That's what I do. So my wife
Yeah.
understands that, and she's cool with it. So she's secure in our relationship. So it's not a big deal. So then I was like, wow, you're pretty. My sister's sitting there, right there. I didn't even know she was there. She goes, "Don't you ever stop?" I'm like, "I'm sorry. I like pretty women. I
The
can't think
same
straight."
Oscar. The
Yeah,
same old Oscar.
so I was up, and then they gave me the bad news. Like I killed half of my heart because I waited too long. If I would have came earlier, it would have just been a regular heart attack, and I would have had regular functioning. But since I waited too long,
Right.
it basically I killed half of my heart. So they opened me up with some stents, and right now I'm just a walking pharmacy, man. They just throw me a bunch of pills that I've been taking, and the thing is, with going on stage, um, it's an adrenaline thing. You know what I mean? It's like I'm Oscar E. Gonzalo when I'm outside the stage, and when I go on stage, you ever see the that movie Houston Hawk
Yeah.
with Sylvester Stallone?
Right.
And then when he goes to arm wrestle, he turns his hat around.
Right.
Okay, that's what I do when I go on stage. Well, as soon as I go on stage and I start stepping on those steps, even though I've been doing this for almost 40 something years, or now I want to say 30 something years, okay, I still get nervous. I still get those butterflies in my stomach every show. I still get the butterflies in my stomach.
Yeah.
And as I'm going up the stage, I become Oscar G. When I'm on stage, you know, I'm not fully there till I play that first note. Once I hit that first note, it's just everything changes. And then I just do what I do. But unfortunately, since I have 38%, what happens is everything I do is more excessive. In other words, if I just ran a mile, I feel like I ran 5 miles.
So I'm kind of like ignorant to this. Like, how do I like is there 100 percentage or is there a 50 percentage
No,
of
it goes. I believe it goes of like 50 percentage and down.
it,
Okay,
it goes from 50 percentage down. So
right.
you're on 35%,
38, 38,
38.
35. I'd be on a list for a heart transplant.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's how it is. But to me, it's like, hey, you know what? It is what it is.
Yeah,
Uh,
but your heart is getting stronger.
no, my heart will never get stronger. My heart would never. It will never go beyond that because the heart is one of the organs that never doesn't heal.
Yes, I
You know what
know.
I mean? So what happens is that damage is permanent. So it's not going to get stronger. It's just going. It could get worse. That's about it. but they put a defibrillator pacemaker on me. So I'm pretty much protected that way. And I have a pretty good team of doctors too. I mean, my doctors have been so good with me. They've done miracles with me. And they look at me like I'm just an anomaly, basically, because you know people die of this stuff. Like they're like they tell me that the type of heart attack that I have, you had a 3% chance of survival
Wow.
because you had absolutely 0% on one of the sides of your heart for about an hour and a half. So that's why they were like they're surprised I'm still alive.
Now,
But
can I ask you a question? Do
yeah,
you think it's because of the stuff that, I mean, I did it too. I'm
it's everything, bro.
is it because of the excess that we lived in the 80s?
It's part of it. I mean, that's part of it. The way I eat, not exercising, all that stuff. Just it comes back at you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And yeah, we partied pretty hard. You know what
We
I mean? And unfortunately,
we
that's what happens.
I remember being at Dave's house, and uh there was a time when you guys played a gig at Connections. We came back. I was driving Alex's mom's car. Radiator goes. Alex is slipping out. Oh, my mom's radiator shot. I said, I'm a mechanic. It's all right. Figure it out.
I remember
So,
that.
I popped the thermostat out. We're going. I plugged the radiator up with some pepper, and we get back to the house. We get back there, and we're all back there, and we're just, there was a bar right across the street.
Yeah. Glass bar. No, not glass bar. Oh shoot. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
That
me
bar.
and
That
Dave used to go there,
yeah, we all used to go there.
and we were fucked up, and I just remember us doing everything under the sun. I mean, we lived like we were Motley Crue.
Yeah, that's why like Motley Crue says stuff like what they did. I'm like, well, I done that.
Oh, like, yeah, up your ass, buddy. I mean, look, is it just me, or does Motley Crue uh uh stage it more?
I think they staged it more.
I think they stage it
Yeah.
more because I really do think every band did that. Even Def Leppard,
Oh yeah.
Poison. I mean,
Every if you were a band in the '80s, yeah,
come on, man. I
yeah
mean,
you were partying. I mean, me and Dave used to go to New York on Thursday. Don't come back till Sunday.
mhm.
You know what I mean? And there was a time that man, we were out there and we were trying to get back for the train, and we missed the train. The next train's 5 in the morning. So then we sit there and then we pass out like right on the floor.
Yeah.
And I woke up. It was like 4 in the morning. I was covered with newspaper, and there was like bums all around us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they covered us, because we were passed out. And I'm like waking up. I see the dude over here, another dude over there, another dude over there, and I'm like, "Yo, Dave, we
I
gotta get."
remember I remember being at Dave's house, right? Alex wanted to go to the Linden pool, and we were partying all fucking night. Me and Dave were partying all fucking night. I remember, and we didn't get to sleep till 4:35 in the morning. Right? I'm sleeping on this pull-out couch. At the time, I was dating Doreen. Now, you remember Doreen?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah,
Okay, she's a sweetheart of a girl.
absolutely. Still friends with her.
And so I'm laid out on this fucking sofa bed. I'm sleeping, and Alice is trying to wake me up. Come on, man, we're going to the pool. I'm like, dude, are you fucking serious,
Yeah.
dude? I'm like, there's no way I could even look at the sun right now, man.
Yep.
I mean, me and your brother were out late. Come on, man, we're going to the pool. I'm going to the pool, and I'm like, I got a cigarette in my hand. I I got a can of Bud, and I'm like walking down the street of Wood Avenue, man, and I'm like,
I remember coming out of the limelight and um and seeing people in business suits walking because they're going to work. And I'm all dressed, we're all dressed in black. They coming out of the limelight, we walking, and everybody's like looking at us like, and they all got responsibilities, a job, and everything. And we're just coming out like we just got out of the club, you know, because Limelight, man, that used to be open to like 5, 6 in the morning, you
that
know.
was like the best place to go. It was like a
Back,
church turned into a
yeah,
fucking.
back in those days, you know, those clubs just stayed open. You know, nobody cared. I mean, shit,
Nobody gave
it
a
was
fuck.
one of the great things. But yeah, it was like that. But yeah, going back to the like I said, going back to the heart thing. Everything I do, it's like it feels like I'm doing more. But everything's stable. You know, like I said, I got a good team of doctors. I get checked periodically. Like right now, I have like kind of some pressure, and I've had it for about a week. And I was thinking, if it don't go away, I'll call up and get an appointment. But usually my heart acts up because I have this monitor. It's in the living room, which they monitor. So
So
basically,
you put it around your neck and it monitors your heart rate.
no, my defibrillator, it monitors my defibrillator. So
Oh, okay.
anything that happens that's happening, it's going through that monitor. And if anything's happening, that goes through that monitor and it goes to somebody who's monitoring the monitor. And they'll be like, they'll call me up and they'll say, hey, you need to go to the hospital now. You know, which, like I said, I got some pretty cool high tech stuff. But the first time I had the first defibrillator, this defibrillator, the first time, um, I, man, if you look at my Facebook, I'm always in the hospital. Why am I always in the hospital? Because I have health issues, so I always have,
Yeah.
you know, I unfortunately that's the card I got dealt. So um, every time I go to the hospital, they see that I'm a heart patient. So the first thing they do is the EKG, and anytime I go to the hospital, I'm staying overnight. Always happens because that's how heart patient. That's what they do to heart patients. Even though I'm going in for something else, because they don't want to they don't want to just treat you and you go and then something happens because of your heart. So they leave you overnight so that way they can see what's going on. So I'm in there for something else, and then they log into my heart thing, and then the guy goes, "Don't move." I'm like, "What do you mean, don't move?" He goes, "Don't move, don't stretch your arms up, don't do anything. Give me a few minutes." And I'm like, all freaked out. And then he does this thing, whatever, basically shuts off my defibrillator. And he's like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Well, one of your wires came out of your heart. So
Oh,
what's going on is if that goes if I stretch out like this, you know what I mean? Then it'll pull the whole wire out, and what it'll do is it will sensor the defibrillator, and it will set it off. Now, you know what a defibrillator does?
sure. Yeah.
It gives you the shock thing. So it's like somebody kicking you in the chest, like a bull kicking you in the chest. So that's what I heard. That's what it feels like. So they said if that would have happened, it would have cost me to have another heart attack.
You
So,
do know that Slash has one now.
oh, does he? No, I don't know. I
Slash,
didn't know that.
Slash actually had from the drinking and the drugging and everything and the smoking. I mean, look, if you look at pictures of Slash now forming,
Hmm.
there's no cigarette in his mouth.
Right.
He doesn't drink anymore. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't do anything. And it's like he's completely clean. It was the drugs and alcohol. It totally fucked his heart up.
The thing you have to understand, that was a phase in our lives. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Some of us pulled out. You know what I mean? Some of us are still alive. Some of us are not. You know, my best friend passed away in 2018, I believe, and he same thing, heart attack. Could have been because of all that stuff. Probably everything that you do when you're young is going to affect you when you're older, no matter what. And do we?
That's
They
I,
tell us
I
that when we're young,
yes, and
so
we
we
don't
already
believe
know.
them.
No, we don't believe it. Nah, it's
We
not
don't
me.
believe it. We think
Right,
we're fucking invincible, man.
right.
We're
So
not.
that's why some of us are like this, and unfortunately, like I said, I have a higher risk of not waking up in the morning than most people do, but that's why I try to live my life, the best that I can. I try to love my kids as much as I can. I try to love my wife as much as I can. I try to do good for people.
Yeah.
I after the heart attack, I wound up developing which is called survivor skill, because a lot of people I know were dying of a heart attack, and that kind of hit me because it tells me, why am I still alive and these people aren't dead if I only had a 3% chance of survival. You know what I mean? And these guys and these people had just regular heart attacks and they're dying. So it kind of messes with your head. And a few years ago, it was really bad, because when I got the defibrillator and it told me I was having heart failure, and depression hit me really hard,
Yes.
and that's when I couldn't find anybody to talk to. So I started putting my life on Facebook, like anything that just was in my head. I put it on Facebook, and it
That's
and it made me feel better.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
No, I don't. People are like, "Why are you putting your life on it?" Because
There's nothing wrong with that.
it,
I suffer from anxiety. You suffer from depression. There's nothing wrong with that, Oscar. And let me
I
tell you straight from the, and I'm going to tell you straight from the, anybody who tells you that you should not put your personal feelings on Facebook, tell them to go fuck themselves. And I
I don't
mean this from the bottom of my heart because
I don't listen to them.
because you know what, depression and anxiety can be, it can give you a heart attack.
Hmm.
It can kill you. It's the number one biggest killer in America,
Oh,
and people
absolutely.
don't realize that. And it's so important. Mental health is so important in this
Oh,
country.
you have that. That's my next venture. We'll get into that, but after this part thing. But yeah, I mean, it on Facebook, when you read before you post, it says what's on your mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
I'll
on my
tell you what's on my mind.
that's on my mind.
So,
But the way it helps me therapeutically is because I get people that message me. You know what I mean? After I put something up, they don't put their life up. They'll be like, "Hey, man, I'm going through the same thing. You know, I'm glad you put it up there because I feel like I'm the only one." Blah blah blah. Um, Heart conditions. Oh, hey, because of you, I went to the hospital and they found something. You know what I mean?
yes.
And they were able to fix it. And I get those a lot.
And
I get
doesn't that make you feel like you've accomplished something
Oh,
that
absolutely.
you saved
I
them?
mean,
It, like
I'm not a believer whatsoever. I'm not into the any all that. I'm one of those people that I believe that when you die, nothing else happens. Okay. I
hmm
mean, a lot of people crucify me for that one, but look, that's my opinion. I don't
that's
I don't feed that to my kids, and I tell my kids, that's like, look, you could be whatever you want to be. You want to be a Christian, you want to be a Catholic, you want to be Jewish, you want to be Muslim, you want to be whatever you want to be. You know why?
that's
Because
right.
when you die, it's only you there.
Right.
That's it.
That's that's where I believe.
It's
And
either
honestly,
you,
that's where I believe.
it's either you or your God, or you and nothing. So
Yes,
none of these other people are going to matter. I'm not going to matter. Your mom's not going to matter. Your friends are not going to matter. Anybody that's against you is not going to matter. It's just going to be you. So that's why I'm a very free believer. I'm not going to sit here and say, if you believe in God, you believe in Jesus, you do this and you do that. That's good. That's a great thing. In my band, okay, when we write our music, our music, if you listen to it, has a message. You can either have it spiritually, or you could have it like a normal, like a normal song. There's
right.
a word for it, but I can't think of it. So in our band, my singer George, he's very spiritual. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's good. That's fine.
He's a Jesus guy. He's a God thing. Fine. You know, our music has that feeling. I mean, we got one of our songs was in a Christian rock station. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because,
Fun.
but
Fun.
I told them I don't mind you writing stuff like that as long as it doesn't go overboard like Striper.
Right.
You know what I
Right.
mean? If you
Absolutely.
if it starts going that way, then I'm gonna have an issue. Every time we go on stage, every time we go on stage, and I encourage this to the guys. Every time we go
No,
stage
not a,
before we start, I don't know if you ever seen pictures, but
yeah.
you'll see us huddle. Okay, basically George does a little prayer for us. You know
Right.
what I mean? While we're there, we're like a team. We're like a football team. We're huddling and we're planning our play. So he'll sit there and we'll go there and each of us will say something. I'm happy we're here. I'm glad you guys are here. Blah blah blah. And then he'll start with his little prayer thing. And then he'll be like in Jesus' name. Blah 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 blah. And then we break and then we start. We do that on the stage. We made it to the point that we made it a point to do it on stage
Right.
right before we go. So every show that you will ever see us do is we do our huddle and everybody looks at us like what are they doing, but that's what we do because that's what we started and that's what we're going to end,
And that's
and
the way to do it.
to me like I said, I'm not that kind of guy, but I don't mind it, you know what I mean, because it shows that I'm versatile. You know what I mean? I could go either way. But to me, it's like I'm. If you want to call it blessed, I want to say okay, then I'm blessed to have everything I have. I'm blessed to have the band that I have. You know what I mean? Because like I didn't even get into the story how we got together. That's another ordeal. But it's just the things that has happened to me, having my wife, having my kids, having a great life, having the life that I had in the beginning, the partying, the girls, the strip clubs. I mean, I tell people, with Scarface, you know what I mean? Scarface had nothing on us, you know, and I had that life, but I had both lives. I had that life, and I have my family life that my wife
Right.
created for us. And to be honest with you, I'd rather have this life than that life.
Right.
Because when I had that life, yes, it was fun, the partying, all the stuff that we were doing. Yes, it was fun, but at the end of the night, you're by yourself.
That's so damn true. Pierce did a song.
After everybody leaves, go ahead.
Pierce did a song. They they redid a song called "Turn the Page," and it's from Bob Seger, and
Mhm.
the words just tell the whole story.
Oh, absolutely,
As
absolutely.
I smoked the day's last cigarette, remembering what she said,
Absolutely.
because the girls are having just as much fun as we are.
Oh yeah.
They're out
I
for
mean,
the same goddamn thing.
same thing. I mean, right
Same
now,
fucking thing.
everybody's like, "Oh, you took advantage of me because I was drunk."
Ah, bullshit. But
Most
you're both fucking drunk. Yeah,
right.
everybody knows what they're fucking doing.
Most of the
Give me a
girls,
fucking break,
most
man.
of the one night stands that I ever had were like, we were all drunk. It's if it was to,
Come
I told
on,
my
yeah.
wife, if I was the way I was today, I'd be in jail. You know what I mean? Because that stuff like that is frowned upon now.
We could have never got away with the shit we
No,
did today.
absolutely not. Nope,
Never,
never.
never.
Nope.
We lived, Oscar. I can honestly say, we lived in an era which cannot be matched.
Oh no,
We lived in an
it will
era.
never come back either.
We yeah. We are survivors.
Oh yeah.
We live. The music was kick ass. The hair was kick ass. We
the,
smoked
the crowds
cigarettes.
were the crowds were kick ass everywhere you went. Any kind of local band that you had a crowd in there. Oh my god,
Yes.
the scene was great. The
The
scene, I
thing.
mean, they had a scene in California. Well, we had our own scene here in New York, in Jersey.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it was great. I mean, everywhere you went, it was like a party.
There
And
was
then you get invited to other people's parties.
It was great. It was great. And
I remember how. What's the name of that one band? Oh my god. Oh shit. I can't remember, but they took us. They took us to some place, their studio, wherever they hang out in. Oh, what was the name of that band? It was some good friends of ours,
was it a big
and
band or was it like a local band? Like
it was a local band, but they had the makeup. They look like Motley Crue actually, with the makeup and all that. That
was it
kind of
Wicked Sin? Because I know
no,
Wicked
no, no,
Sin.
not Wicked Sin. No, not Wicked Sin.
Because I subbed for Wicked Sin.
No, not Wicked Sin.
I played drums for Wicked Sin for a couple shows because the drummer was sick.
I'll remember. I can't remember right now, but yeah, they used to be, other bands and stuff. They used to invite us back to their studios and continue the party, you know. But yeah, the life that we lived back then can never be replicated.
Yeah.
Can never be represented the right way. Yes, I do believe I saw the movie The Dirt. I do believe they exaggerated a little bit because
Yes, they did.
that,
I completely agree.
that's what you do. You know, I mean, you're gonna say, you know, my dick is 7 inches, which is really three.
Yeah.
You know what
Come
I'm
on.
saying?
And it's not the size of the look. You know, you know what my motto is? It's not the size of the fucking pencil. It's how big you write your name.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, look,
I'm
it's a
telling
lot.
you, man.
There's been a lot of changes in the years. You know what I mean? We've all evolved. We've all changed. We've all done our thing. Women, same thing, have evolved. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, back in those days, you know, it's like today. Like I tell people, like today, I don't need hairy pussy because I did my time. I ate I ate pussy back in the 80s. And
See,
it
I
was
like it. I still like it, Harry. That's the
when,
thing, man.
when
I
you
don't know what it is, man. I'm stuck
when
in
you're looking
70s
at
and
it,
80s.
when you're looking at it, you see a Wookie.
I'm still stuck.
You know, I done my time. I like it clean now.
I'm stuck in the
All,
set.
all these young guys, they have no clue. They have
They,
no idea. They don't know how it was when you have to blow on it to part the ways.
they don't know. They don't know what it's. They won't even go down on a chick.
Oh
I
no,
don't know why.
no,
I don't know.
you're
I don't
right.
even know why we're talking about this.
You're right about that.
Why we're talking
I
about
had a lot of conversations with them young guys, and then I was telling, and then I was like, "You eat pussy?" No, I said, "What are you talking about,
What
bro?"
are you talking about, man? That's what we did back then,
But
man.
but
I mean,
but that's another
that's another
story.
show.
That's another
That's
show.
another
But getting back to Fire Inside. Um,
Yeah. Now, I wanted to ask you guys, when you guys go in the studio, how do you write your tunes? Do
okay,
you sit there and write them on paper?
no,
Do you go in the
well,
studio and
no,
jam?
no. Well,
Do you,
the way, like I said, the way. Let me tell you how we got together first before we get into that. I'll get into that because it's a good story. So I was telling you earlier that I was telling Felix at the end of the year I was going to quit. And I was going to sell everything and find guys, younger guys, because we couldn't find anybody. Then 2 weeks before the end of the year in December, in walks George, fully dressed, rock star looking. That's the way the man dresses every day. You know, that's why you call himself Rockstar G. Homeboy walks in looking like Steven Tyler. I looked at him and I was like, wow, that's exactly the kind of singer
yeah,
I'm
I actually
looking
like him
for.
too.
You
He
know,
does.
I was like, okay. So then he comes in, and then we didn't have any songs, and then you know Felix just starts playing something, and then George brought in a drummer friend of his, and they started jamming out, and it was good. Then at the end, we're outside, and George goes to me. He goes, "Yeah, the kid's good, but he needs to mature a little bit, you know, on the guitar." And he goes, "I don't think this is for me." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "This is 2 weeks before. If George would have been what would never came in, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We would be having this conversation with everything in the back." So then I call him up the next day or 2 days later. I was like, "Hey, bro, you know, why don't you come back in? let's see, how it works out. I mean, the kid was nervous, blah blah. He's 23 years old, and he's there with me, and he's there with George. George is an older guy. He just turned 50, so he's looking at us like we're the professionals, and he's just the amateur kid. So he comes in, and in 6 hours, bro, they create like 7 songs, you know, and like foundation wise. And I was blown away. I was like, every time this kid plays something, George has something in his book, and then he just opens up the book, and then music comes out, you know. And the reason I wanted to always keep the band just when we create, because we don't. It's not pretty when we create
Right.
because we argue, you
Sure.
know, what you like and what you don't like. Fuck you, asshole. This, blah blah blah. That's why there's no need for people to be in here. You
It's
know
a
what I mean?
marriage.
Yeah,
It's
because
it's a
because
marriage.
it's the way it is. You suck. You're this. You're that. You're blah 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 blah. Blah. Okay, here's the song. Bam. You know. So we create a song. Okay, let's just say like the song you played in the beginning, or you know. Okay, so we come out usually with 5 songs to go in the studio with, and we'll go in the studio and then we'll knock them out. Boom, boom, boom. Usually it takes about 2, maybe 3 takes. You know what I mean? Because we try to
Right.
keep it, because studio time is expensive. So what we try to do
Yeah.
is we have this great producer, Sean Shannon. He was a drummer for Molly Hatchet for a while. He's played with Pat Travers. He's been in a couple of record labels, and he's a good friend of ours now. And he produces all our songs, which everything he does is like magic for us. He makes it sound good. He makes it sound like a rock band. Without Sean, our music wouldn't sound that great. You know what I mean? Because if you have to have that, you have to have that right engineer and that right producer for you to get a good song going. So we'll go to the studio, which is USA Live Studio in Oviedo, Florida, and we go in there, we knock them out, and then Sean will we'll do some stuff because we'll produce the songs with him, you know, and then if everybody's satisfied, he'll end the producing there, or he'll take them home, and then he'll work on it some more, and then
Right.
he'll give us a song. But like I was saying, we had that motto of that business plan of releasing the song once a month. And then when I was started talking to you, we got off track was with that show Monsters in the Morning.
Right.
We, now we're a band. Our show, we had a show with Pat Travers actually, which was,
Really.
yeah, we had a show with Pat Travers.
That's great.
I don't even know what date that was. I got a poster up there, but it was sometime in 2000, sometime in 21 in the beginning. In April was it? Maybe so, I don't know, somewhere around it. But anyway, so this radio show, they have a trivia thing because it was during COVID. So what they did is like they would do trivia, and if you won trivia, you could promote whatever you want.
Right.
And people were calling in and promoting their jobs. Nobody ever promoted their band. So then me and Felix were going. Felix and I were doing our exercising at the park. We just go every morning, and I was telling him, I said, look, if we call up and if we win trivia, we could promote the Travis show. And he's like, that's a good idea. So then I call, and I gave him the number. He called. So I'm sitting there, wait, you're on hold, and then he's on hold too. So then all of a sudden, they click in. I was the first guy, and I was like, oh, cool. So the main guy, the host Russ, he's like, what's your name? I was like, it's Oscar, and he's like, okay, but where you from or where you doing? I was like, oh, I'm at the park. I'm from Orlando. I've been listening for 20. All of a sudden, the call goes dead. I was like, hello, hello, and then you hear on his phone because you hear the show when you're on hold. So
Right.
he already had it on speaker. So then what happened was my call dropped. He was the next person. So what happened was when my call dropped, it goes, well, let's go to the next guy. And then, they clicked over. He goes, yeah, this is Felix. And one of the guys, because it's like four guys there, and then one of the guys said, oh, Oscar and Felix, that's funny, you know? And then we started talking, and then we said, yeah, he's here, we're jogging, and he was the one, but his call dropped. And they're like, wow, what a coincidence how that happened. So anyway, so we went to the trivia thing, and he didn't have an answer for it. So his answer was wrong. So he asked one of the hosts, and then the host got the right answer. So we got to promote our show. We got to promote the band. We got the website. We say we're playing with Pat Travers and blah 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 and the whole 9 yards. And then they were like, "Wow, that's really cool. A band calling up. That's pretty smart. To promote the
Right.
show." So then we friended one of them, Ryan Holmes. He's a comedian. We were thinking, why don't we do like with Sam Kennison did, mix rock and roll with comedy. You know what I mean? He's a comic. We put him on stage at the beginning, 10 minutes of comedy, and he introduces us on stage. Which we did that a few times, which worked out pretty good. But
Right.
He kind of like wanted to get out of that, because for him it wasn't working well, but we were still friends.
Right.
So a year goes by. Um, the main host Russ knows us. Knew of us. Didn't know us, but knew of us. Mark Tremonti, the guitar player for Alter Bridge and Creed,
Right.
calls up the show. Because they do interviews. So then Mark is like saying he's going to start a charity foundation, take a chance for charity, which is for kids for Down syndrome. Unfortunately, his daughter was born with Down syndrome, so he felt the need that he needed to do something. So I was that episode. We have it on video. I got to post all that on the thing, whatever. So Mark asked the host and the guys there to do something out of their realm and come up with a song to put on the website, on his website, so the proceeds could go to his foundation.
Right.
Right. So he's like, yeah, they're awesome. That'd be cool. So they agreed to do that. So now they needed to find a band. So I don't know how he got my number because um, um, Ryan didn't really have my real number. For some reason, he had another number that he thought
Right.
it was mine, but it wasn't mine.
Right.
So I'm doing a side job, and I just got out of Wendy's. So I'm like eating my chili, and I'm driving, and I have my phone like on the passenger seat. Now I'm like drinking my chili as I'm driving, getting back to work. Oh, the phone starts.
No
ringing.
red meat, dude. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
So that's never gonna stop. So I'm driving, and I look down, and I see Russ Rollins. I'm like, that's like somebody, that's like Howard Stern calling you up down here, because everybody knows who they are. And I'm like, really? And I'm driving. I'm like, oh damn! And it's ringing. I got chili in my hand, and I'm driving, and I'm like on a no, like a little high, like Route 1 and
Right.
9, the same thing. So I'm trying to get off, trying to find a spot. I got off at this strip club that's not open anymore. I pull in the parking lot, and I pick up the call. And he goes, hey, Oscar? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, hey, this is Russ Rollins. I was like, hey, what's going on, bro? He said, hey, listen, did you hear the show today? And I'm like, yeah. He goes, well, Mark Tremonti wants us to come up with some songs. You guys think you could, help us out? Absolutely. What do you need? He goes, well, we're gonna do some cover songs and blah blah, and we're gonna see, and we're gonna put it on an album, and then put it in Mark Tremonti's website so they could raise money for his charity. Bro, I was blown away. I was
Right.
like, wow, really? Absolutely. So we did, I can't say the name of the songs that we did, but he's a very big Kiss fan. So we
Yeah.
did we did a Kiss song for him,
Which
and
one? Which one? Which one?
I can't tell you right now. It's not
Oh
it's not
man,
it,
God,
it,
dude, come
it's
on!
not.
I'm a Kiss fanatic. You
I
got to
know,
tell
but
me.
it's not released yet, so that's why
Okay.
everything's got to
Okay.
be on the down low because they
All
want to.
right. It's cool. It's cool.
So I
I
was
mean, you see
like,
my Ace Frehley autograph
oh yeah,
picture right there,
no,
right there, man.
I know you're all Kiss. So then I was like, yeah. So he always texted me, right? And he's like, he calls me up. He's like, listen, we're gonna get like the rights to to record the songs and release them. Basically, it's gonna be so and so song by Fyre Insyde. So whatever the song would be, whether it be Rock and Roll All Night by Fyre Insyde.
Right.
That's not the song, but that's how it's gonna be. So then he calls me up all excited, and then I'm like, "What's up, Ross?" And he's like, Paul Stanley heard that we're going to do a cover song, and he wants to hear it before it goes out. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "Paul Stanley wants to hear our song before it goes out. Is he actually going to know the name of my band?" I was like blown away. So at this point, we recorded it here because I was trying to keep the costs down because even though you're doing stuff for charity, a lot of people that game into doing stuff for free. So I try to keep the cost down by recording it here. So we recorded, and it took Sean a minute to get it back to us. And then Russ is one of those guys that he's like me. Once we record a song, I want to hear it. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Of
And
course.
waiting, that's like waiting for your baby to be born, and it's the
Right.
anticipation of this and that, blah blah
Right.
blah blah. So then I hear I hear him on the radio every morning, and then I hear him say, you can't wait to hear the song, can't wait to hear the song, or the song and the song. So Sean sent me a rough copy before he found the final edit. And I was like, okay, so let me just send this to him just to quench his thirst a little bit. I was like, look, this is not finished. This is before the final cut. Just to keep you what's going on.
Right. Right.
That week, he had um, he has his friend um, who's in wrestling, and he's the one that got them together with Mark Tremonti. And he calls up Russ, and he says Peter Chris is in Orlando. He's in a wheelchair, and his Russ's wife is a paramedic. So they were actually calling up for Russ's wife to go help Peter Chris get to the airport because he's in a wheelchair. I don't know what was the issue or whatever. So
Yeah.
his
Yeah.
his wife was busy, and Russ being a Kiss fan, he's like, "I'll do it." So he goes to he goes and picks him up, takes him to the airport, and they become friends. You know, so when I gave him that rough copy, the first person he sends it to is Peter Chris. And then I'm like, he's saying that on the radio, and I'm like, no, you're not supposed to send it out yet. So I'm like texting Russ. I'm like, yo, that's just a rough cut. That's not the final cut. And he goes, oh, I couldn't help it, man. It was like I just seen it. I had to send it. I'm like, no, you have to wait till the final cut. So
You got to think though.
we
Peter
sent
Chris, Peter
that,
Chris, and Ace Frehley were the ones who had. Well, I'm not gonna say Peter Chris. he had the least success in his solo albums, but Ace had the most Ace and Paul had the most success in their solo albums.
I think Kiss wasn't Kiss anymore after they left.
It wasn't the same band.
No.
It's the same with Black Sabbath.
It's like Metallica when they lost the Cliff.
Cliff.
It wasn't Metallica anymore.
And-
Van Halen when David Lee Roth came out. Even though back in those days with Van Halen and they called it Van Hagar,
yeah,
it was I downed them all the time.
they were more commercial.
Yeah, I was like, oh, that ain't a band. Today, I love the songs.
I love them. I think Balance. I think Oh You Wait One Two. I listen to those songs, and they're just good rock songs.
Absolutely.
Although I love, you see now, I'm also a singer. I mean, I had a 2.0 octave voice. I told you that before. There's a difference between a front man and a good vocalist.
Absolutely.
There's totally a difference. It's like Jeff Tate and Vince Neil.
Absolutely.
Vince Neil is a good front man. David Lee Roth is a good front man. Jeff Tate is a vocalist. Sammy Hagar is a vocalist. It's like cake and cheesecake.
Yeah,
it's like it doesn't. There's no comparison.
I had this conversation, as a matter of fact, with George yesterday at rehearsal. When we were no, this was Thursday. What's today? Saturday? No, Thursday rehearsal. I had the same conversation. I said, you know what? The only thing that we have different from any other band, all these other bands, yes, they have singers. They have good singers. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with that. With George, I have a front man. You know what I mean? Because he's a performer. You know what I mean? He'll sit there and do his thing, and he do his thing. He's a front man. You know, he's a David Lee Roth.
Absolutely.
He's a Vince Neil back in the day. You know, and we're going to this the show The Dirt that we're doing on the August 27th in Daytona. Right after the next day, we have a Battle of the Bands in Kissimmee, which we're going to be there. It's a 15-minute thing from 3:15 to 3:30. So we have to go from Daytona, and then we're going to go to Kissimmee the next day and do this Battle of the Bands. And I told George, I said, look, we have a kind of up in a way because a lot of these guys are singers, and they're really good singers. But to be a performer and a front man like yourself, it gives us a little edge, you know, because a lot of times when you're in the club and people just like stand there like this,
yeah,
you know what I mean, to see your band, because you're like background.
It's like watching. It's like watching Ian Gillan and Robert Plant.
Right. It's like background music. It's like, you know, guys aren't really doing anything. No moving around. They're just standing there. It's like playing a jukebox, basically, which I find nothing wrong with it. I'm not insulting anybody.
No, absolutely not. Because
that's the way you are. That's the way you are. I'm a little bit different because I'm the kind of guy that the movement has to be there. The stage performance has to be there.
That's how I am.
I don't like to see. Besides, one of the rules in my bands and most bands it is, even though you screw up on stage, you never stop playing.
That's right.
One of the other rules. On stage is you have to move around a little bit, because the thing is, nobody wants to see a guitar player just.
No.
You know what I mean?
No.
Like
and that's what Deep Purple did. That's what bands like Deep Purple did.
Like, what's his name? The bass player for Stones.
Yeah.
You know,
Ron Wood.
He just stands there and plays, and nobody really pays attention to him. You know, Mick Jagger's out there doing his thing. You know what I mean? And
Mick Jagger's not a great singer, but he's a good front man.
Exactly. And then
He knows how to get that fucking crowd moving.
and then I feel like
That's-
crap because I see Mick Jagger that's almost 80 and he's out there doing his, doing his thing, and I'm sitting here like barely alive at 55.
Absolutely. People are picking on Paul. Look. I'm. Everybody knows I'm the biggest Kiss fan that ever walked the face of the earth. Everybody knows it on my fucking Facebook page and shit. And I do think they should give it up, but I do believe that Paul Stanley is one of the best front men that ever lived.
Yeah.
He is.
He's up there. He's up there.
He's up there,
and
but he can't do it anymore.
That's why I agree with you. Okay, yes, these guys are almost 80 years old. Okay, they're in their 70s, late 70s. They're still going on stage.
Yes,
okay,
and they're selling out arenas.
They've been doing this for 40 something years.
Yes.
Yes, they're going to need a little help. Right?
Yes.
Backing tracks, it's going to happen.
Every band does it. Every band does it. I don't care who you are.
You know what? At that age, you're gonna miss. You're gonna miss a beat. You're gonna miss a note. You're gonna miss a thing. And
there's
gonna be tracks help you out.
Yes.
Because you don't want to go there and pay your money on your ticket and see a crappy show. See a big fat Vince Neil walking around.
I never thought.
Vince Neil, my last concert was that stadium concert that just came around.
And I saw you were there. I saw you were there. Yeah.
And it's funny because this is going to be my last concert. I'm not going to any more concerts. I'm done with concerts.
It's not worth it.
Oh no, it's too much of a hassle.
It's
too many
fucking
people.
not worth it, man.
So hot. The walking is ridiculous. The parking is insane. The beers are like $15 each. I am over that. And then it's so ironic because I told my wife, Motley Crue was my first concert. Motley Crue is my last concert.
I saw Motley Crue on their first farewell tour. Okay. Their first farewell tour. Mm-hmm. Alice Cooper opened for them. Alice Cooper was before Kiss.
Oh yeah.
And Kiss looks up to Alice Cooper.
Right.
Alice Cooper goes out there, but Alice Cooper's smart. Alice Cooper finds new musicians to do the material, and he goes out there. Alice Cooper does not have this great voice. He doesn't.
No.
But he's a performer.
Exactly.
I'm into, and I know I'm kind of getting off track with this, Oscar, and I've got to really put this into perspective. These people who put these old bands down, like Foreigner, like Journey, like, okay, if the original singer can't cut the mustard anymore, then you got to get somebody out there who's going to sound like them, who's going to do the same material, who's going to, like, Journey has, Foreigner has the singer from Hurricane out there singing just like Lou Gramm, doing Hot Blooded, doing Feels Like the First Time, kicking fucking ass. Doing great. And they have Jeff Peelston from Dokken playing bass, and they're doing great. And Mick Brown's the original singer. Okay. I'm into bands. I've always been into bands with a visual image, like Watts, Motley Crue. After Shout at the Devil, I lost interest in Motley Crue. I lost interest in Motley Crue after Shout at the Devil. People can slap me in the face for this. I don't care. But I lost interest in them after Shout at the Devil. I thought they sold out.
Well, yeah, they were evolving. They were going with the times,
They were going with the time, but I thought
that's ending. So we gotta go with the times. That's when they came out with Girls, when they're all leather up, and now we're going, and then
right.
Grunge came and screwed everything up.
Stephen Pearcy, he's not a great vocalist, good frontman.
Absolutely.
I mean, tell me, I can go out to 100 people. And I could say Round and Round, and they could say, "Oh, what band is that?" And I'll tell them Rat, and they'll be like, "Really?"
Right.
and about 15 people out of those 100 people will say, "Oh, that was rad." It's the same kind. What I'm saying is, being a front man, you don't have to have a great voice.
Mm-mm.
It's about
You have
being
to
out there with
entertain.
stage presence,
If you
entertainment.
entertain
It's
people,
entertainment. And when people sit there and put
you're my gesture. You're entertaining me. You know what I mean?
exactly, exactly. I'm
That's
going to see Wasp in November.
yeah. I saw Wasp a long time
That
ago.
that's going to be my last freaking show
Yeah,
because it's
I'm done with concerts.
I've got to go see Wasp. They're one of my set. They're my second favorite band because they're like the closest to Kiss, King Diamond. I'm more into heavier music now. Like people used to say, as you get older, your music's gonna be lighter. But my playlist on my Pandora goes from everything from Barry Manilow to Cradle of Filth to
Right.
Merciful Fate.
Oh my God, I remember Merciful Fate.
And it's funny, people say, how do you like Frankie Valley and then Merciful Fate? It's like it depends what mood I'm in. It really depends, man. And that that's what music's all about, man. It's about expression. It's about freedom.
Oh, absolutely. It's like our songs, right? I like our songs because everybody tells us that when they hear our songs, if it sounds like you're in 1980s, in the mid 80s.
Yeah,
You know
it
what I mean?
does.
But
It does.
that's what I wanted. You know what I mean? I don't want to sound like today's rock. You know
No,
what I mean?
no,
Because today's music, right? 25 years from now, what are you going to remember? You know what I mean?
nothing. Nothing.
Back in the 80s, music meant something. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
it did.
Journey, Open Arms, my first girlfriend. Faithfully, my third girlfriend.
The
Boys are back.
70s and the 80s.
Boys are back in town. My buddies in Jersey, in Carteret.
Yep.
It means something. The songs, when I hear it, it means that. You know, it means something. That's what I want our Fyre Insyde songs to be 25 years from now. You know what I mean?
And that's what you're
Open
doing.
my eyes. That was me, and my girlfriend, Mary Jane. That's when me and my boys are hanging out. You know, blah 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 blah. Hook, line, and sinker. You know, all our songs. It's just I wanted to have some kind of meaning to people 25 years from now.
And
You
that's
know
what
what I
you're
mean?
doing.
And
I hear your songs. I
that's
listen to them.
well,
Every
thank you.
time you put a post out, I listen to your songs and I'm like, these guys get it. They get it. They're not just putting out songs to run amok.
No,
They're putting out songs because they feel it.
right.
And you have to feel the music.
Well, absolutely. I don't hear music. I feel music. That's the way
Yes.
I always tell people.
Yes.
I don't hear music because to me, hearing music, it's like practicing. If I practice a lot more on my own, I'd be a damn good bass player. But I can't practice by myself. I have to have people with me. I have to have the band with me. That's the only way. That's the only way. I practice on my rehearsals.
I talked to my cousin from American Angel, and he's like, I'm practicing, I'm practicing, I'm practicing. And I love the guy. He's my family. He's my first cousin. But I'm like, why are you always practicing? Why are you always practicing? And he's like, well, I do this. He's a big jazz fan, and that's
So am
cool.
I. Yeah,
That's
no, I'm a big
that's
band fan. My biggest love is Glenn Miller. Believe
oh,
it or not.
it's great. I love Johnny Cash. I love Barry Manilow. I love Elton John. I love Billy
Bee
Joel.
Gees.
The Bee Gees, you can't match them. I mean,
I
come on.
mean,
I mean,
yeah.
Frankie Valley. I mean, I
Oh,
was
Frankie Valley. Oh my God, that's like
Frankie Valley. Dude, I was listening to the Monkees the other day in work.
Monkeys are good.
I mean, I mean, even though they didn't really play all those instruments,
Hmm.
but it was just good fucking music,
Yeah,
man.
it's just good. It's good songs, man.
It was good stuff.
Hey, hey, I'm a monkey.
Yeah, I mean, Cheer up, sleep.
Yeah, I mean everything.
It's
It's
great
every
stuff,
all
man.
the all that's it's just good music that you can relate to later on. You know what I mean? It's like
It's
when Olivia Newton-John passed away. You know,
oh my God.
you start
God
hearing
rest his soul.
stuff that what a great woman she was, and the things that she done. Like if you were a teenage boy in anywhere in the '70s, early '80s, that was your first crush.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? With right there with Farrah Fawcett. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
So it
It
was
wasn't Farrah Fawcett too much to me. It was more Olivia Newton-John.
oh
Farrah
yeah,
Fawcett was more
because she was
Barbie doll.
yeah well yeah because she all she was is somebody to look at.
Yeah,
You know,
that was just eye candy.
Olivia came up with some really good songs,
Olivia was the girl next door
and
who had that
she had
voice.
some really good songs. You know, it's like magic. Magic. It's been in my head, and it was so funny because I go to the chiropractor twice a week. So, and I don't know what station they have on, but they really play really good music.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting there, and this is the day that Olivia Newton-John died. I'm I'm sitting there, and this is early morning. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning, and then Magic.
Oscar,
Yeah,
can you hang out on for 1 second?
sure.
Okay. Okay. I'm trying to pause.
What's wrong?
No, I'm having a problem here. Okay, go on.
Okay, so the
I
song back. Can
I
you hear me?
I got 15 minutes left.
Okay, you're good. Yeah, because my guitar player is on the way. So Magic comes on, and then this older lady's like next to me, and I tested her. I said, "You know what this is?" She goes, "Yeah, Olivia Newton-John." I was like, "You know what the song's from?" He goes, "Yeah, Santa do." And I was like, "Wow, okay." So we start talking about the old days, and later on that day, I find out that Olivia Newton-John died, and I was like, "Oh, I was crushed." I was like, "Oh my God, this woman has done so good, so much for so many people through the years." That is so unfair of the life that she lived. You know what I mean? She had a
Yeah.
really really good life, being what she was, but she was also cursed with she had cancer in her early age. And she beat that, and it came back, and unfortunately that's what took her. But she was the type of woman that she was done with chemo. She didn't want to do chemo anymore because this thing's like
No.
the worst. It's like my knee surgery, man. I had knee replacement surgery June 24th. I would never do it to my left leg. I did it to my right leg. I would never do it to my left leg. I would never do this again, and I don't recommend it to anybody. I would tell people to do something else because this is the most painful thing you could ever go through. Luckily I'm going through everything good and everything, and of course, the oxycodones brought in my depression more, so that's why I even stopped taking them. But yeah, no, I'm glad we're healthy. You're healthy. We're all here, and we're all here to
Oscar, this
make
is
some
gonna
kind of
shut
difference.
down now.
Okay,
Okay, I'm sorry, bro.
all right.
But man, it
So
was great talking to you, man.
absolutely.
Where can we find the links to your song, man?
You can check us out at fyreinside.com. Will you spell fire as FYREINSYDE? We spell it with the Y's.
Cool,
That's
man.
how we are. We're Fire Inside. Yeah, but check us out. Like I said, we're on Spotify. We're on all streaming platforms. We're also on Pandora. So we're everywhere. I mean,
Cool, man.
you just type in the band name, and you can see articles, magazine articles of us, or all this stuff that we've been doing, and we're just trying to create good rock and roll music to please the masses, and I hope it does.
Cool, bro.
And I appreciate this, and I appreciate this interview from you,
And thank you
even
for
though
being on the show.
I was your first one, but
You were my first one.
we never pressed record.
I know, and I'm gonna let people know this. This was my first interview,
That's how funny
actually.
it was. We're actually the first. I was actually your first one, but record wasn't. But getting back, getting to us, getting together was hard. You had things to do. I had things to do, and I'm glad we finally got together and did do this.
It's good to hear from you,
And
brother.
I do appreciate you, dude. Like I said,
No,
just go to
thank you, man.
fyreinside.com. And I love you guys. I miss you guys. And I can't wait to go up there and visit everybody.
Great,
All right,
man.
bro?
Thank
All right,
you,
man.
Oscar. Hey, man.
Thank you.
God bless you, bro.
You too, buddy. Thank you.
Okay, man.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.